All right, guys. So last time that we met, we talked about limiting reagents. Shh, guys, stop touching each other, weirdos. Okay. Last time we met, we talked about limiting reagents. Basically, what do we do when we have multiple starting numbers? So if you guys look, we start this problem with two numbers. We start with 10 grams of MNS. So we got 10 grams of this guy. And then we have 30 grams of HCl. Okay, so up until this point, we've always been talking about one starting number with excess, right? But now we have two different starting numbers. And that's the point of limiting reagents. What we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out which one of these reactants runs out first. Okay, so in this problem, it's asking us to find grams of H2S. So what we need to do is we need to do two different stoich problems. The first time we do stoich, we need to find how much H2S that MNS can make. This is the first one that we do. And then the second stoich problem we do is how much 30 grams of HCl can make. And depending on what numbers we get, we're able to figure out how much is really made. Okay, so in terms of the math, it's exactly what we've been doing. Nothing has really changed. So let's just start the stoichiometry problem. If you guys are comfortable doing the stoich, you can just kind of go through it a little bit faster than me. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly too, but please make sure you guys tell me to slow down if you have any questions, okay? Okay, so our starting number here is going to be 10 grams of MNS. Like we said, we have two different starting numbers, 10 grams and 30 grams of HCl. We're going to focus on the first one right here. All right, so same thing as normal. We're going to set up three different fractions. And if you notice, you're looking for grams of H2S. So we're going to put H2S on the very end. Okay. So like I've been saying, we're going to be doing stoich the entire year. Nothing's really changing. So the top, we're going to put gamma, so grams, moles, moles, grams. Again, we know the first two fractions are about the same chemical, so MNS, and then the last two are about the same chemical, H2S. All right, we're going to try to get rid of grams of MNS, so we're going to put that on the very bottom. So on the first fraction, where do our numbers come from, guys? You guys remember? Yeah, molar mass. So we're going to go to the periodic table and look up Mn and S. Mn is in the middle. It's called manganese, 54.94. We can round that up to 55. So 55 plus S, which is 32. So 55 plus 32. So the molar mass of MnS is 87. Okay, so we got 87 on the bottom and then 1 on the top. Okay, again, numbers come from the molar mass. Okay, second fraction, we're going to get rid of moles of MNS. We're going to get that number from the balance equation. What number is in front of MNS, guys? Yeah, just 1. There's no number, so that's 1. What about H2S? 1. Yeah, there's no number. Okay, and then lastly, we're going to put moles of H2S on the bottom. Numbers come from the molar mass. We just said S is 32. H is 1 each, so that'll be 34 grams per 1 mole. Okay, so again, just normal stoichiometry. We have our 10 grams of MNS, and then we're trying to turn that into H2S. All right, so let's plug it into the calculator. So we got 10 divided by 87 times 34, and our final answer for this problem will be 3.908 grams of H2S. Okay, so that's our first number. Okay, so from there, I'm going to have you guys try the second problem on your own. Like I said, you have two starting numbers now. So if we have two starting numbers, you have to do stoichiometry 2 times. So the first one we just did together, the starting number was 10 grams of MNS. And then now we need to do a stoich problem with this number right here. So same thing as usual. You're going to set up 3 fractions. And then you're going to be finding how much H2S you can make using your 30 grams of HCl. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is take about the next 3 minutes. You can work with the person next to you and see if you guys can calculate the answer for this stoic problem. Okay, so take about 3 minutes to do that. Okay, let's start going over this problem, guys. So this is very simple, same thing that we've been doing. We're gonna put Gamumaga on the top, so moles of HCl, moles of H2S, and we got grams. So we're gonna put grams of HCl. Molar mass of HCl is gonna be 36.45. We can't round this guy because it's the decimal, the 10th place is not a 0 or 9, so we gotta keep it 0.45. We're gonna put moles of HCl on the bottom. HCl has a 2 in front of it, so we need to put a 2 on the bottom of the fraction and a 1 on the top. Okay, and then lastly, we're gonna put moles of H2S on the bottom. Now, if you guys notice, this fraction is exactly the same fraction as this one right here. So we can just copy it down exactly as is. 34 divided by 1. Okay, yeah, what's up? I didn't hear. Okay, anyway, I didn't hear what you said. Okay, let's plug it into the calculator. Okay, so we're gonna do 30 divided by 36.45 divided by 2 times 34, and your final answer will be 13.992 grams of H2S. If you put something close to that, if you put 14, I'm cool with that too. All right, any questions about the stoichiometry? All right, you guys good on the stoichiometry? Do it, do it. Send the link to, I'm recording this, send the link to Ms. Cohen. Ms. Cohen, I'm teaching stoichiometry. Okay, this is Mr. O talking. Okay, so we got 2 different numbers for H2S. Now, this doesn't make sense because you can't make 3.9 and you can't make 13.992, right? That's like saying I can make 2 cars and 5 cars with the same amount of materials. You can't get different numbers. Okay, do you guys remember how we can choose which number is correct? Which one should we choose? Yeah, the smaller number. You want to pick the smaller number, which is going to be 3.9. So even though we could make about 14, we never get there because once we get to 3.908, we're going to run out of the material that makes it. So our limiting reagent right here is going to be MNS because we run out of MNS as soon as we get to 3.9. So we can only make the smaller number, 3.9 grams of H2S, which means that the excess, the chemical that we have left over, is going to be HCl. Okay, and there you go. That's how you can do part A and B at the same time after you do your stoichiometry. It kind of like rolls off the tongue. I can see why you say it. It sounds cooler. It's better. It is. It's true. Stoichiometry. Okay, so one thing I do want to mention before you guys, or before we go on to the next part, is that the limiting reagent and the excess, if you notice, both of them are on the left side of the arrow. So just keep that in mind. Whenever I ask you to find the limiting reagent and the excess, they always have to be on the left side of the arrow. They always are the reactants. So make sure you don't pick a chemical on the right side of the arrow. Limiting reagent and excess always come from the reactant side. Yeah, what's up? So a lot of time it depends because in this situation it worked out because the molar masses were the same. But if you had something with different molar masses or the same starting number, then you would have to do the calculations. Like the problem we did last time, we started with 100 and 100. And so you have to do the stoic either way. And yeah, just to be honest, for the test, you're going to have to do both stoic problems. Sorry, what was your question? You can, but I would rather be safe than sorry. So do the calcs just in case. Yeah. Good question, though. Okay, let's move on to part C. Now, if you guys notice, here in this problem, part A, we found H2S, right? But we have a different product. We also have MnCl2. And that's what we're looking for in part C. In part C, we are looking for how many grams of MnCl2 we can make. Now, you might be tempted to be like, hey, I need to do stoichiometry 2 times because you have 2 different starting numbers, right? but you already know which one is going to run out first. Which chemical runs out first? Yeah, this guy, MnS, is going to run out first, which means you can do stoic 2 times if you want, but MnS is still going to make the smaller number. And so what that means is you're going to start with MnS for the next problem. So 10 grams of MnS, and then you're going to do your stoichiometry. You got your 3 fractions, and then you're going to solve that out to find MnCl2. Okay, so that's where I will end the lecture. You pretty much have everything you need to finish up this problem. Honestly, the only thing you need to calculate now is the molar mass of MnCl2. So I'll stop it right there. But if you guys have any questions, make sure you guys let me know. You guys can check your answers with me if you guys want. But I'm going to give you guys the rest of the class period to finish up this assignment. There are 3 problems on this assignment, but there are multiple parts. So make sure you're keeping an eye out for that. And if you guys finish early, you guys can work on the assignments from the previous classes. Okay. So I'll give you the rest of the class period to work. Let me know if you have any questions or if you guys want to check your answers. All right.